Maya noilam habu, Maya noilam habu, Maya noilam habu. Yom Shabbos manichu, Yom Shabbos manichu. Atam fenoilam habu. Yom Shabbos, Yom Shabbos, Yom Shabbos, Yom Shabbos manichu. Maya noilam habu, Maya noilam habu, Maya noilam habu. Yom Shabbos manichu, Maya noilam habu, Maya noilam habu.
Good morning, everyone. Once again, I apologize for my voice, not yet back to normal. But this is Veshamru, take 3. And we get today, as in halacha in general, to a middle position. Usually there's a position that says no, a position that says yes, and there's always a middle position. And the middle position goes all the way back to the Rokeach. Who was the Rokeach? He wasn't a baker, as is the name Rokeach, but rather his real name was Rav Elazar Miger Maiza. His years, 1160 to 1230. He was a student of the Yereim, those that know that name, also of Rav Yehuda Chassid for Kabbalah. He eventually became the Rebbe of the Or Zarua, so we're talking about a very important Ashkenazi Rishon. And the Rokeach has a very interesting position on Veshamru. First and foremost, it goes all the way back to the 12th century for sure. Number 2, he says, and I quote his words, V'omer belachash Veshamru v'nei Yisrael ad shavat v'yinafash. You say quietly the words Veshamru and not out loud. Now, how does that solve anything? So, in order to answer this question, we have to go to a tzlach and a shut emek halacha. The tzlach, his real name wasn't tzlach. It stands for Tziyun Lenefesh Chaya. He wrote a book on Shas to remember his mother, Chaya. His real name was the Nodeh Yehuda. That also wasn't his real name, but that's the name he's known by. His name was Rav Yecheskel Landa. He called the book Nodeh Yehuda, I believe, after his father. So he has Tziyun Lenefesh Chaya after his mother. And indeed, his years, 1713 from Poland to 1793 Prague, he writes something interesting. Everybody knows that we say Baruch Shem Kvod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed in Shema quietly. And it's a sort of a compromise, because Moshe Rabbeinu didn't say it in Parshat Ve'et Chanan when he said the Parsha of Shema. He went from Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad directly into Ve'ahavta. But Yaakov Avinu, according to the Medrash, did say it on his deathbed. So what do we do all year except for Yom Kippur? We do a compromise. We say it quietly. How does that solve anything? Medayek the Shut Emek Habracha, the following. Shut Emek Habracha is already the 20th century. Rav Yoshua Baumel, and he says that ultimately, since the Tzlach says that we say the first pasuk from Moshe Rabbeinu, it really doesn't really make a difference what you say next. And says Rabbi Baumel, that's only if you say it quietly. In other words, it's not a hefsek if you say it quietly. It doesn't create a division. It doesn't create an actual partition within the recitation of Shema. So says Rabbi Baumel and Shut Emek HaBracha, the same thing here, that since we say it quietly, that's what the Gemara says to do about Baruch Shem Kvod. Thus, if you say Veshamru quietly, that solves all problems. If you're not allowed to say it, it's like we didn't say it. And if you're supposed to say it, we did say it. Seems like a great plan. There's only one problem. I have never seen it in my life. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I have never seen it in my life. Either the whole shul says Veshamru, including the Chazan, or Minhag Hagra, Minhag Chabad. They don't say it at all. But you should know there is an opinion going all the way back to the Rokeach, 12th century, that says you want to solve all problems, say it quietly.
Oy Shabbos, wie heilig bist die Shabbos, wie lächtig bist die Shabbos, wie sie ist bist die Shabbos. heilig bist die Schabes, wie lächtig bist die Schabes, wie sie ist bist die Schabes.